we're live.
Yay, here we go. Okay.
I always think of getting that picture.
Okay. Yes.
Hopefully everybody's able to hear us.
Okay. Good.
Right.
Okay, we are up and going.
Yes. And in the meantime, I'm going to misplace my phone.
What's it still got to do?
All right, we're here. Welcome everybody to the Everyday Warrior Project training. We're so glad to have you here. First of all, if you're just joining us, this is a live video, but we're going to be recording it and you can watch it at your leisure anytime, over and over. So if you have questions, please feel free to refer back to this video. Now you can find details about everything that we're going to be talking about today on our website, which is heroicyouth.org.
Yeah.
Yes, heroicyouth.org. So you go to our website and then you just scroll down until you find a link for the Everyday Warrior Project and click on that, and everything that we're talking about should be on there. Today, our basic agenda. First, we're going to have an overview of the Everyday Warrior Project and kind of a recap of what we have done, what we are doing this year. Then we're going to talk about how and when we report. I know that's what most of you have questions about because it's a little bit different from last year. So that's coming up. And then we're going to focus more specifically on the leadership structure. So who gets the report from whom and how we report those, and which people you need to be in charge of if you are in leadership. And then after that, we'll just answer up a few more questions, and we will have a question and answer session at the very end. So if there's anything, you've listened to the whole video and nothing has made sense, if you're watching the live, then at the very end, we can answer those questions as well. And then just as a reminder, when you are sharing this training with other people or passing on this information, just a reminder that we all need to be checking our emails and responding when you get these HeroICyouth communications, so that it's easier for all of the leadership to get the information they need.
Awesome. All right. So just a few notes. I thought it would be good for us to just maybe reintroduce ourselves for those who may be watching this at a separate time. So just your name and what your position is. So I'm Emily Clausen, and I am over all of the youth on the boys' side of Heroic Youth. Queen Emily.
I'm Jaden Renquest, and I'm the Royal Master Knight, which is pretty much the same thing. But I'm younger.
And his boss.
Yeah, well, when he gets older, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm Olivia Olszewski. I'm the Crown Princess, and I'm the girl version of me.
And we just got a note that we need to speak a lot louder. The sound is not very good.
Okay.
Sorry, we had some technical difficulties, so we'll try and be nice and loud. Okay.
I am Amber Johnson. I am the Queen of Christabel, so that means that we run the girls program. We work a lot with Olivia.
I'm Jared Johnson. We're King Jared and Queen Amber. We're both over the Christabel program, the girls side of the program.
Not with us today is King Richard, who's my husband, and the other half of the Terra Libra program. All right, Jaden, you're up. Let's talk about the overview of Everyday Warrior Project.
All right. So hopefully most of you know how Everyday Warrior Project works. But to recap it real quick, you set 5 goals. 1 in your family, 1 in your congregation, 1 in your local community, 1 in your faith, and 1 in your education. And you set these goals to help you develop servant leadership skills, identify and pursue your God-given individual mission, and to internalize the Hero's Creed. And in order to earn the Everyday Warrior Project award, you have to set a goal in each of the 5 areas, submit an Everyday Warrior Project proposal, endeavor to accomplish the goals, report weekly to your warrior mentor at least 80% of the time, and then finally turn in a final essay to your warrior mentor. So not super difficult stuff.
And those submitting the proposals is something that you did when you applied for youth leadership. So you've already passed that one off.
But if any of you did not do it, you still need to do that, because I know that there were a few of you in interviews who had not completed that. So if you're still working on it, now is a great time to finish that up and get it submitted.
Yeah, excellent. All right, Olivia.
So how you report is this year you're going to fill out an online form, and that link will be in an email sent out.
And I'll also put the link below this video once this video is released.
You'll be reporting by Sunday each week, preferably if you can report by Saturday. That way we don't have everyone's emails and reports coming in at 11 o'clock Sunday night. That would help all of us tons. So everyone will fill out the exact same form, and the reports automatically are sent to your leaders who you report to. So you don't have to send out emails like it was last year. It's just filling out a form.
Right. Also, even though we'll send you the link to that form, you can also find that form at heroicyouth.org and just scroll down on that main page and find the thing that says Everyday Warrior Project. When you click there, there'll be all the details about the Everyday Warrior Project, but the link to the forms will be at the top. And there is a separate one for girls and boys, just to keep things clear with everybody who's tracking it. So that's awesome. So instead of all the emails, you just get to fill out a form. It's all in one place.
Way better.
Make it easier for you. Excellent. All right, Jared.
Awesome. So as the boys and girls in each specific camp and kingdom fill out their forms, then there'll be emails sent to the different Master Knights, Princesses, and Guardian and Valkyrie commanders confirming that someone has sent in a report. From there, you can access it using your email or through a spreadsheet, which we will send out as a link to each of you Guardian, Valkyrie, Princess, and Master Knight, the Guardian Valkyrie commanders. From there, you can look at all the people who have submitted reports this week or any of the weeks. You can sort it by name or by date or by week. It should be very easy to access all the information on all the reports generated, how people in your kingdom or your camp are doing with individual goals, what help they need, what successes they had, and what they're still struggling with. Each of you will get an email later today that will be an individualized email for the people in your kingdom or camp that has a link to those spreadsheets. So your princesses, your master knights, expect an email in the next few hours that has a link to the spreadsheets where you'll see the reports from those in your kingdom. It should be fairly intuitive. If you have any questions, please reach out to any of us or the Everyday Warrior Project Committee. We'd love to help out. Now, a lot of people say, well, what is your role in tracking or reminding or encouraging people? Especially with Everyday Warrior Project reporting starting tomorrow, we want our princesses and master knights and Guardian and Valkyrie commanders to reach out to those underneath them, whether that be an email, a text, a quick call. All of you should have access to the contact information. And introduce yourselves, if you haven't done that already, and kind of do a DTR. Say, would you like me to follow up with you weekly via text or via email? Would you like every other week? How can I help you as a youth leader, a servant leader? How can I help you to excel and succeed with your goals that you have? What will be the most effective ways for me to help you improve and for our entire kingdom or camp to become better?
But just to note on that, it might be good if you have an idea of what you would prefer before you ask them that. Because
yes,
a lot of them will say, well, I don't know, just whenever. So if I were you, I would say, I would prefer to contact people once a week via text, and know what your preferred method is before you contact them about it, just as a backup.
With these new forms, we're trying to make it easy for the Princesses and Master Knights and Guardian Valkyrie commanders to keep track of everything and not have as much of the confusion or the hectic last minute stuff of sending an email. Where do I send it? And everything that happened last year. We want to make sure that there is still an individual connection between the leaders and the youth that they're helping out. And so it's up to you leaders out there, you Guardian Valkyrie commanders, you Princesses and Master Knights, to reach out with either text or phone call, to remind occasionally, to maybe have a quick chat where you can help out with any problems, still keep that personal relationship that really led to a lot of the successes that we saw last year without all the extra busy work that led to a lot of the problems that we saw last year. We want to make sure that that everyone who is reporting and receiving reports strikes a good balance between encouraging and between spamming. People have busy lives, especially with all sorts of different camps or conferences going on this summer or vacations like that. there might just be times where you're not getting your report back and you say, well, I just got to text them every hour for the next hour until they finally do it. That might be a little bit too much. We want to make sure that there is accountability and follow-up, but it doesn't ever cross the line into spamming. I remember once on my mission, I was a district leader and I was helping out another missionary. And we were walking down the street and we saw a person, so we went across over to contact him and he was like, no, I don't want to talk to you. And my companion, the person I was on exchange with, is like following him down the street, like, hey, why do you want to talk to us? What's wrong with you? Like, are you scared of us or something? And I was like, hey, whoa, just calm down. If you want to have a good relationship, you want to have make sure that the people you're in charge of are doing their best. Maybe getting them angry at you is not a good way to do that. So.
And a note on that, it's totally okay for people to decide that they don't want to do this project. You know, we're hoping that they want to, and we're hoping that this is something that's helpful. But if you have someone in your camp or your kingdom that says, you know, my summer is crazy, my mom just had a baby and I just don't think I can, that's okay. You know, we don't want you to make them feel any sense of like shame or like they don't belong, because they certainly can make that choice. That is okay.
Should be by invitation and not by shame.
Right. Although we really strongly, especially encourage our master knights and princesses to be committed to it. Right. So excellent. All right. So we have a lot of questions about what do you do if you've set your goals and you're trying hard, but you just, for whatever reason, you feel like you're not being successful with your goals, or you feel like you have already failed at them. For those of you who think that, and we're 2 weeks into this and you think I've already failed, I want you to rewrite that program in your head right away. Everyday Warrior Project is one of the most forgiving things you can participate in. The whole point of it is to be encouraging and not to be a guilt thing. But here's some things to do if you are struggling on your goals. First of all, number one, look at it as just a baby step. So are your goals set so high that in order to get from where you are to where that goal is, you have to climb several flights of goal stairs? If so, let's just set goals for the first step, okay? If you are not somebody who's been physically active and you've decided to start running 5 miles a day, and that's your like physical, like your education, self-improvement goal, that's probably going to not work out terribly well and maybe cause injury and damage to you. So what would you do? Go on a walk every day. You know, set that baby goal, that baby step goal. So that's the first thing. And also, just to clarify that, you can change your goals throughout this program. Yes, you submitted a proposal to us. That was your starting place. But that is not a contract that you have to fulfill those specific goals in those specific ways. So please tweak and adjust and even change completely when necessary. So make sure your goal isn't too big. Number 2, make sure your goal isn't reliant on somebody else to accomplish it. If you have a goal to read every night with one of your siblings, and that's a great goal to build a family relationship. What happens if your sibling is sick or gone? You might think to yourself that you can't accomplish that goal. So maybe set a goal to offer to read to your sibling once a day. That way, it's entirely within your control. It doesn't rely on somebody else in order for you to fulfill it. And you can still do your part no matter what somebody else's schedule or circumstances might be.
We also want to make sure, though, that this is a program about setting and keeping commitments and goals. And so if you're sitting that, run 5 or 10 miles every day, you're like, this is just way too hard. You think, well, I need to change it. Well, last week, I did put away the silverware every day. That took some physical effort. That's my goal. Yeah, that was my project, right? Maybe that's not the most effective way. Maybe you can look back and say, okay, last week didn't work out because maybe my goal is too unrealistic. What's a commitment that would be within my ability to keep, not be a little bit of a challenge, and change it going forward? Be proactive about the changes rather than reactive. Yeah,
go back to that stairs analogy. Make sure you're taking the next step, not just staying on the same one or backsliding. Very important. So the first was, I have to remember what my thoughts were now. Okay. The first one was make sure your goal isn't ridiculously too hard. Number 1 is make sure it's within your power to accomplish it. And then the third one is you can tweak your goals for special circumstances. I'm going to bring this up because we have a lot of people who are going to go on scout camp. They're going to go to girls camp. They're going to go on a family vacation. And if your goal is to mow the lawn, but you're at scout camp, it's okay in those special circumstances to say, I'm going to set a new goal for just this week that can still build this part, but is appropriate for the circumstances I'm going to be in. Instead of saying, hey, I'm going to scout camp, no goals this week. Set new goals, okay? Maybe if you're mowing the lawn is to give service to your family, maybe instead that week you write a note that says, thank you for supporting me, and you leave that home for when you go. That's just an idea, but the whole point is to continue to be consistent. Most of all, no matter what, even if you don't do your goals, record what you did or did not do that day and report it that week. The reporting is how we are able to track that you are engaged in the project. We're not coming into your house and judging whether you're meeting your goals. We're able to look at and measure whether you're reporting your goals. So no matter what, make sure you're reporting. All right. So the next question that we have here is, what if someone who reports to me is struggling with their goals? So what do you guys think? What do we do when somebody, if you're a master knight, you're a princess, or you're a guardian or Valkyrie commander or general, how can you help somebody who's struggling with their goals when they report to you or don't report to you? Maybe that's what you really see, right?
I would start by asking them why they aren't being able to accomplish their goals, figuring out if they did set a goal that was too hard, or this goal is just way too easy and I don't like it anymore because I accomplished that, and just helping them go through the process of tweaking their goals by figuring out what's going on and why.
Right. Good.
I think a lot of times with goals, it's when we have a realistic goal, like, well, I could go walking and running for this mile today or for 30 minutes, or I could make a time to reach my siblings every night. And then when it's a realistic goal and we could attain it, we often find ourselves getting distracted or we procrastinate or something like that. And so a major thing that I'd recommend for Master Knights and Princesses and Guardian and Valkyrie commanders to do is to kind of go through a snapshot of an average day. When could you carve out time to make this goal? When could you, do you need a text reminder at 8 in the morning for like 3 days in a row? See if you can get in the habit of going for a run. What assistance can you offer that's not too onerous or burdensome on you and not too onerous or spamming for them? What can you do to help them find a way to accomplish that goal?
Excellent. All right. So now we have some time for some questions. So if anybody has any questions that they'd like to ask, please enter those in the chat. Just a note, you do have to be logged in order to ask a question on YouTube. So if you're just watching as not logged in, it'll be harder for you to ask your question.
Also, if any of you want to text any one of us you see up here, we'll also read through there if you have any trouble logging into YouTube.
Yeah. It looks like we have a few people who have commented. We just mostly huzzahs and huzzahs and hurrahs. All right, here's a question from Landon. What are the assignments for Master Knights and Princesses that are going out from today? So what's going out today is the spreadsheets that you can view. You'll get the links to the spreadsheets, and that's where you will view what the reports are that are coming in. But you're also going to get an email copy of the entries. So yeah, watch for those. And everybody will get an email with a lot of the information we covered today, as well as the links to the form that you'll use in reporting.
The email will look a lot like, you probably can't even see this, can you? Hey, look like that. It'll have instructions on where the forms are, who reports to who, and other stuff. So.
Excellent. Here's another question. Valkyries will not report to princesses, she says. And the answer is, you guys want to talk about who Valkyries are?
Yeah. So when a Valkyrie goes in to fill the form and say, here's what goals look great this week, here's what goals I could use some help with or improvement on, they'll get an email response will be generated and sent to their Valkyrie commander. The Valkyrie commander will then also report to the Valkyrie general, and likewise for the Guardian side. However, each of the princesses and master knights in the kingdom will have access to how the Valkyries and Guardians in their respective camps and kingdoms are doing. They just won't get an email every time Valkyrie or Guardian reports. And so Princess and Master Knights have access to all the information within the kingdom. However, individual Guardians and Valkyries are specifically reporting to their commanders.
But we would certainly encourage you to work together, right? If I'm a princess and I notice that one of our Valkyries are not like reporting very often, it's not my responsibility to follow up with her, but it could be my responsibility to follow up with her commander and say, hey, I noticed this. What can we do together to help this girl reach her goals, right? So it's not like a job of mine to make sure that she reports, but I would certainly want to be aware of that and be on top of what was happening inside of the kingdom that I had responsibility for.
Yeah, and the same on the boys' side for sure. So another person asked, how does the reporting structure work? So I'm just going to go through that. So you listen for your position, and then this is who is getting your report and who you can go to ask questions and help. Guardians report, so Guardians and Valkyries report to the Guardian or Valkyrie commander. The Guardian and Valkyrie commanders, as well as the Guardian and Valkyrie lieutenants, report to the Guardian and Valkyrie generals. So obviously the boys are reporting to the boys, the girls are reporting to the girls. Pages and squires are reporting to their respective master knights. Then the junior master knight is reporting to the senior master knight, the same thing on the girls' side. The royal master knight and crown princess are reporting to the kings and queens of their nations. Also, guardian generals and Valkyrie generals reporting to the master knight and the royal master knight and the crown princess. So I think that covered everybody. Did I miss anybody? Flag bearers and ladies in waiting report to their respective princess. Yeah, so I think that's everything. Yeah, seniors and juniors of master knights and princesses are all individually reporting to the crown princess and the royal master knight.
Amanda Jumps asked a question: how can I find out who's my Valkyrie commander? You can look at this through the email that was sent out back when you were first assigned different roles, but also within the forms, it's very easy. If you know who what kingdom or camp you're in, what color you're in, there'll be an option to select, here's my kingdom, here's my camp. And then only a few people will come up that you could report to. Now, if you're in White Kingdom, you're not going to have an option to report to someone in Purple Camp. And so if you know what kingdom you're in, and you're a Valkyrie or a Guardian in that kingdom, there'll only be one option of the Guardian or Valkyrie commander to report to. And so it should be fairly straightforward, fairly intuitive.
Yes. When you fill out the form for the first time, if you have any questions, know that you can contact any of us and we can help you with that. But it is so self-explanatory. One thing also to note is because we started tracking on the 8th, but we're recording for the first time this weekend, you're going to fill out 2 complete entries. Your first entry, you'll select the first week, starting on April 8th, and then the second complete entry, you'll select this calendar week. Okay. Yeah, Kate Bishop asked, who does the flag bearer report to? That's to, the flag bearer reports to the senior princess. Sorry, I got confused because we have pages in both junior and senior on the boys' side.
And all of these details are coming out in the email.
Yes.
So we're really glad that you're asking these questions and that you're thinking about this now, but you don't need to remember in your head every single thing because all the details are coming out pretty soon.
And somebody else asked, as a Guardian commander, do I receive a spreadsheet? Yes, you will. You'll get it. Is that correct? Yeah, you'll get a spreadsheet that shows, and it's just going to be your 2 or 3 Guardians that'll be listed in that. Do the senior princesses give the crown princess the reports of everyone in the camp?
Let's see here. So the crown princess and royal master knight will all have access to a master spreadsheet with everyone's forms, and then they could reach out via text or email or call to individual kingdoms or camps to follow up with individual problems or concerns or help needed. And so when the senior and junior princes and master knights will both fill the form and report directly to the crown princess and royal master knight. However, there doesn't need to be any Sunday night phone call where the master knights and princesses call in all of their reports because the crown princess and royal master knight will already have access to that in their own spreadsheets.
And here's a question that I have that we hopefully have an answer for. When when a person is submitting their report, do they also put a way that we can contact them?
Yes.
Okay, so when you get that report, let's say that you received a report from somebody and they said, I had a really hard week and I did my goals, but they weren't that great. Well, then if you are responsible for tracking that, if you're a princess or a master knight or a commander, then you can look at that form and they should have a way up at the top that tells you how to contact them as well. So you can just contact them directly and not have to track down a phone number through any other sheet, which is very nice.
And then a couple questions just to clarify. We're talking about two separate forms. One is a form that you fill out to report. That one is the one that you're going to find on the website on the Everyday Warrior Project page. There's one for girls, one for boys, and that's the one that every single person uses to report their goals every single week. Then there's spreadsheets, and those are going to be sent by link directly to the people who have others that are reporting to them.
The Master Knights, the Princesses, and the Guardian Valkyrie Commanders.
And then the Royal Master Knight and the Crown Princess. And so then that's where you will see the results of what people have input in that form. And so hopefully that clarifies that. That means that we're all staying in communication. It's just we're doing it in a way that's going to help it to be organized. And so it's for those of you who participated in Everyday Warrior Project last year, the goals are still the same. The goals are still to have accountability to each other, to encourage and uplift each other, but we're trying to do it in a way that, number one, we're making sure all the information is getting in. You know, if a Guardian Commander is at scout camp and doesn't get a report from his Guardians, we're still knowing that report can be received, for example. And the other part of it is to make sure that it's just lightens the burden for everybody trying to track down this piece of information and people reporting in one way in one camp and a different way in another kingdom. So kind of standardized.
I can maybe do like an example. Let's say that I'm a flag bearer and Amber here is my princess, and then Olivia is the crown princess. So I would get on a Saturday or Sunday or Friday, whatever works best for you. And I would go to the form. The link to the form is going to be in the email. It's going to be on heroics.org. Be very easy to access. I'll fill in. I agree on this. Great on this goal. Good on this goal. But I'm really struggling with this one goal. My goal is to go on more dates with my wife, but I just can't do it. Yeah. And then she'll be my princess will access all that information on her spreadsheet that she got the link for when I email out later today. Just say, great, good job, Jared's doing all that. He needs help going on dates with his wife.
If only I could help with
If
it.
only she could help, right? And so maybe she might text me or call me or email me or walk in the other room and talk to me and say, actually, I'm available this next Friday. Let's do it. Okay? And I'd say, my princess is so great. She just helps me out with all my problems. And then after that, Amber would get on, and as a princess, she reports to the crown princess. She goes to the form, she fills out how she done her goals, and Olivia can see the progress of her on her own goals, as well as everyone, because she's over all of the girls. She'll see all the girls. And if Amber feels like she needs some additional assistance with helping me out with my problem, she can consult with Olivia, but I think she's got it covered.
And a note on this, Olivia and Jaden will have access to all of the information and also the Guardian Generals and Valkyrie General, right? The Guardian Valkyrie General will have that. But having access is not the same thing as knowing where they should be helping, right? So if you're aware of an issue, if you're like, I have this one, flag bearer that just has a really hard time with her goals, if you need some help, you need to let them know, because looking at that spreadsheet, they're not always going to catch everything that you know about. So if you know about something specific, tell them that specific thing, and then they can access the sheet and say, oh, cool, I see exactly how this works.
Right. Yeah, using the forms and the spreadsheet is not meant to replace all communication in your camps and kingdoms about Everyday Warrior Project. It's just meant to clarify the reporting itself. All right. Okay, I think that's, unless we have any other questions, I think we've covered everything that people have asked. A few last reminders, just watch for those emails that are coming today. Make sure you report your 2 weeks this time and then just 1 week each time after that. We'll make this video available, so I would really highly recommend, once we have, it takes a little bit of time for a live video to become just a rewatchable video. But within a couple of hours, it's usually done. So once that happens, I'll put a link for that in the email. But Master Knights and Crown Princesses, Guardian Commanders, Valkyrie Commanders, etc., why don't you also make sure to just send a link out to your people that you're over and remind them to watch this, because we know for sure that we don't have all of our youth leaders watching this right now. It's a busy Saturday, the day before Easter. And so people will be watching it throughout the weekend. So sending them a link will really help to answer a lot of their questions. Oh, one last question. When is registration going to open? It opened, I believe, just this morning. So it is available for you to go and register now and to start sharing that with your friends that you want to get to come and be attendees. Registration for youth leaders and for attendees is now open.
And I'm just going to address one thing here that we always get questions about.
Okay.
If there are any kid attendees, really little knights and handmaidens that have specific requests, like they want to be with a certain person, or they have food allergies, or whatever, there is a note section where you can put that in there. So you don't have to email me or Emily directly about this. They can just put these comments that they have in the notes section, and then we can address that as registration starts coming in.
Yeah, and that is really important for that to be there. Otherwise, we have pieces of information floating everywhere and not in one place. So, right. Registration for youth leaders. Youth leaders, just like it has in the last couple of years, and everybody other than Master Knights and Princesses, your total registration fee was, sorry, I have to do the math. Anyway, hold on. I know it's $150 for Master Knights and Princesses, but you've already paid your $35 when you applied. So it's $115 now. So what is it? It's $120 in total, so it's $85. $85 is what you still have remaining for youth leaders generally, and then Master Knights and Princesses, you have $115.
And then the Handmaiden and Knight registration.
Handmaiden and Knights registration is $99, but it's early bird right now, so it's $89.
And then the sign up now.
Yes. Save $10, and if there's multiple kids in a family, that adds up. So, all right.
And do we know when early bird ends for registration?
That is a good question. I think it's on the website.
Okay, it's on the website, but it does end
It's in
eventually.
May. It's mid-May, I think. I think it's May 15th. But double check that. Okay. Okay, I think that's everything. How do you guys feel about this?
One question I saw for Jaden earlier
Okay.
was asked like, so how are you guys so amazing? Jaden, you want to
I thought it was for Olivia.
Oh.
Jaden and Olivia.
This is you guys. It's obviously.
I know, obviously both of you. Good response.
Proper
Just comes
hygiene.
naturally.
I don't know.
Cool hair.
Yeah.
Freckles. It's
Yeah.
the freckles.
It's the freckles.
It's the freckles. I love it. All right. Oh, she says it was for all of us.
Some of us have freckles. I'm just gonna throw that one out
Just
there.
marry the right girl. That's how you're amazing.
So thank you so much for doing that live video. If you do have more questions, of course, you can always text us. That's probably the fastest way to get a response from most of us. Text is great, email is great, and then we'll see you at
We'll see you at training.
Also ask when is registration due?
And when is it due? That is also on the website. I think that for youth leaders, it's the end of May is the last time. So everybody needs to be paying by the end of May, because that way you're paid before you're coming to all of your trainings and getting all the benefit for what you're paying. And yep, we'll see you at the next training. For you youth leaders, most youth leaders, that will be clear till the end of June. And there will be a brand new baby.
Tiny baby.
Tiny baby. So we're really excited to see you all. Thank you. Bye-bye. Awesome. Okay, good.